Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much more each and every week. Hey, if you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. There's been a lot of chat about AI can do for image generation, automated social media copy, and then there's, of course, the inescapable mantra of AI is going to take our jobs. Spoiler alert, it won't. But we'll get more to that because Christopher Penn had some thoughts about it. Not many people have bothered to think about what it can't do or what problems could arise from the technology that everybody is messing with. That and more in today's Marketing Smarts live show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 36 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about AI B2B marketing deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. Hey, I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and the host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher S. Penn. Christopher S. Penn is an authority on analytics, digital marketing, marketing technology, data science, and machine learning. A recognized thought leader, best-selling author, and internationally renowned keynote speaker, he has shaped 5 key fields in the marketing industry: Google Analytics adoption, data-driven marketing, PR, modern email marketing, marketing, data science, and artificial intelligence / machine learning in marketing, which we're going to talk about today. As co-founder and chief data scientist of Trust Insights, he is responsible for the creation of products and services, creation and maintenance of all code and intellectual property, technology and marketing strategy, brand awareness, and research and development, which means Chris is super busy, but we got him on the podcast. Now, remember, the clips of Christopher Penn today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview, it's Christopher Penn and myself. Make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts podcast link in the description when this show is over. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking to Chris Penn, or Christopher Penn, Christopher S. Penn, if you really want to Google him and not find the actor, about a B2B marketing deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. Now, I have to be honest with you, I had a plan going into interviewing Christopher, but the first question, I threw away my plan and just kept diving into amazing things that Christopher was saying. So that being said, this episode of the Marketing Smarts live show might be a little different than other weeks you've tuned into. Also, I have to throw in a huge disclaimer. AI is moving at a rapid pace. We have pulled in clips for today's show that we feel will help no matter the date. But for an updated video on where we are now, I'll be sharing a bonus piece of content from Christopher S. Penn at the end of today's show. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get after this AI topic. In this first clip, I asked Christopher, should we stop using AI for marketing? Christopher then shared his thoughts on using AI, what it has to do with DEI, how DEI committees and marketing teams may need to work closer together, as well as a couple examples where AI went terribly wrong. Let's take a listen to this first clip.
It is perfectly okay to use these tools as long as you, a human, are reviewing its output and going, okay, I'm looking for problems. And ideally, within your organization, you have, everyone and their cousin has been ramping up DEI initiatives, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Aside from workshops and and all of the usual activities and games and role playing, your DEI committee should be on your content marketing committee to look at the content you're producing and saying, hey, this is problematic. Your DEI committee should be involved with your AI team, with your machine learning team, with your data science team to say, look at that. This doesn't look like it might be working right. I'll give you an example from the MarTech show I was at a couple of years ago. I saw this one vendor and they said, we will find you the perfect customers. We'll find you the ideal customers. You just give us your data and we'll put it on a map and visualize it and boom, there's your customers. And they put up a map of Boston. Now, this is a B2C example. They put up a map of Boston. They put up Dunkin' Donuts and they showed the city of Boston, said, here, these red dots, these are your ideal customers. Go get them. These black dots, they're not. If you don't know the layout of Boston, the southern part of the city, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan stuff are historically black parts of the city, historically less wealthy parts of the city. There were no ideal customers there. They were all in Cambridge, Boston, Financial District, etc. Now, again, for our international listeners, if you're not familiar, Dunkin' Donuts is a brand of coffee. It's an American brand of coffee that are mostly described as milky, weak coffee. The thing that is true about Dunkin' Donuts in the city of Boston and its surrounding areas is that the only people who don't drink Dunkin' Donuts are dead. Everybody drinks Dunks because it's cheap, it's everywhere, and it's good enough. For this company to have created this map saying you have no ideal customers in the black parts of the city is a load of, our Spanish friends would call it excremento de toro, right? This is just, it's completely untrue. Everybody drinks Dunkin' Donuts. So this software, which was built with statistical data, census data, stuff like that, machine learning based, produced a phenomenon called redlining. First coined in the 1930s in the real estate industry and the insurance industry, where people would take maps of the city and draw red lines around the parts where they didn't want to do any business. Again, historically black or minority, historically poorer parts of the city. No one stopped to ask, hey, that map looks weird. That doesn't look right? Someone on a functioning DEI committee would look at it and go, guys, you just reinvented redlining. This is really bad. Maybe we should turn this software off. Another classic example, back in 2018, Amazon created a predictive algorithm to screen LinkedIn profiles for ideal candidates to reduce the speed at which, to reduce the delay in hiring engineers. They turned it on. It stopped hiring women. Immediately. It's just stopped. Why? Because they trained it on all male developers. And as a result, it learned that character said, hey, and of course, Amazon got a big black eye for this because it was really obvious immediately, like, that's weird. Nobody stopped to ask the question, hey, what could go wrong? So to answer your question, no, we shouldn't stop using these systems, but we absolutely need human beings throughout it going, hey, guys, what could go wrong? And you need to leverage that investment you've made in DEI to have those folks in particular going, hey, what could go wrong? It looks like that went wrong.
Hey, looks like that went wrong. Holy cow. Those examples are crazy. And for you, I hope you heard that very first part. It's perfectly okay to use these AI tools as long as you, the humans, are reviewing the outputs. Please make sure you're doing that so you and your company do not become the next AI horror story in the future. Are you using AI in your marketing yet, in your business? Put the answer to that in the chat pane or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB.Thomas. Now we'll get back to Christopher Penn and his thoughts on B2B marketing deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the MarketingProfs community? If not, become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking news. As soon as we get done with technical difficulties. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, so we're going to talk about breaking news in the B2B section, where I look at the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is, What Do AI and ChatGPT Mean for Humanity and for B2B Marketers? Short and long term. Part 1 by Sue Mazzara. Now, Promethean moment, apocalypse, the latest overhyped piece of information. Sue Mazzara reflects on the ever-changing tech landscape and if these new developments are a sci-fi dream or nightmare or the latest bandwagon that we might be facing. This article is a stop and make you think type article with statements like, Will it ever discern truth from falsity? Not currently, but theoretically, yes. With new cognitive developments, hybrid systems, and greater integration with other systems. The more data we have, the more diverse the sources, the better the model becomes, and the more emergent behaviors develop. It's learning how to code, which still mystifies researchers, or even statements like eventually. Could AI systems be hacked, causing wild disruptions in business, countries, financial, and energy systems? Holy mackerel. Like, I don't mean to be a doomsday here, but a terrifying possibility. Will it change things? Life, work, leisure, study, companionship, and relationship as we know them? Almost certainly. Take the simplest example as ChatGPT can integrate with other systems like TaskRabbit. We reportedly can all soon have personal assistants to handle our correspondence, make our appointments, maybe even do our taxes. Now, that article, I'm telling you, it's whoo. If you want to dig in and read this article, check out the link below when the live show is over. Now, let's get back to Christopher Penn and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. I asked Christopher, how the heck did we get here so quick? Fun facts, I learned that we got here rather slowly, but Chris shares what the heck changes and why now seems that we are going faster than ever. Get your notepad ready because he shares some history and tips to use as well. Definitely pay attention to this clip right here.
We haven't gotten here so fast. We've been talking about AI for 70 years. Many of the algorithms and things that are in use today were developed in the 1950s. What's different today is the compute power that we all have to us. You know, these lovely things that, you know, we carry, these literal supercomputers in our pockets, allow for a lot of these capabilities. The conversation has changed in the last 4 years, especially because of an architecture called transformers, not the awesome 1980s toys, but these AI algorithms. And without getting into the technical bloody guts of it all, essentially these transformer-based models, which incorporate things like large language models like ChatGPT, for example, allow us to do what's called generative AI. There's three different basic classes of AI, three use cases, right? There's regression, which is, I have a whole bunch of data, find me something that, you know, with an outcome, find me things that look like the outcome. This is the principle behind things like recommendation engines. When you fire up Netflix and, you know, it says, hey, you might also enjoy these 8 shows that are exactly like these other 8 shows. When you're on TikTok and you look at dogs, you know, in ballerina outfits, and for some reason, so your entire TikTok feed is all dogs in ballerina outfits. That's a recommendation engine. That's regression. The second major category of AI is classification, right? And this is where you see a lot of companies doing stuff with customers, voice of customer things, you know, bringing in billions of social media updates, bringing in phone calls, interviews, call center, then just classifying it, saying like, what's in the box? Like, hey, of the last 20,000 calls we've gotten to our call center, what are the 5 main topics that people are complaining about, and having machines be able to digest that? Those two things, regression and classification, have been part of AI and have been deployed in production for years now. When you look in your marketing automation system and your CRM and you see things like lead scoring, automated lead scoring, that's what's going on there, right? When you use a piece of software like Demandbase, for example, that's, you know, making recommendations about content somebody should see, it's regression algorithms. It's very straightforward. I had a chance to chat with their chief data scientist, and we got into the bloody guts of which algorithm they should use and things, and it boils down to regression stuff that and they're very good at. The software is very good. What has changed in the last 5 years is generative AI. This is when you say, hey, I want AI to start transforming inputs that I give it into outputs that maybe have not been seen before. And really in the last 6 months, when people started to catch on and understand, oh, generative AI is capable. So this started with things like DALL-E 2, which is an image generator, and then Stable Diffusion last summer open sourced its model, and suddenly you saw an explosion of people, making computer generated images of dogs on skateboards in outer space and all that stuff, right? Fun stuff like that. In the last 3 months, the rollout of ChatGPT, which is a chat-based interface to a language model called GPT-3, which is the current version, has been on the market now for about 2.5 years, and people who are in the know have been using it very successfully for the last 2.5 years. A lot of these big companies that are generating content in an automated fashion, they're using that. Like, we wrote some software to connect to it, and we do predictive blog post stuff with it. But the chat version is something that's that the completely non-technical user can get behind and go, oh, I know how to chat. Right, I don't know what temperature is or P scores or dropouts or softmax layers, but I know how to chat. And so now, as DALL-E 2 and Stable Diffusion make people go, oh, I can make pictures of my my dog's breed, in a knight and armor outfit on a horse. Now they can say, oh, I can have this thing write me blog posts or social media updates or rephrase the lyrics to Gangster's Paradise to be about B2B marketing. You can do all things with these large language models. That's what's changed. And what's coming in the next few months is enhancements to these models. The models are getting larger. So OpenAI has said on their roadmap for 2023, GPT-4, which will be about 8 times the size in terms of the back end of what GPT-3 is, which means more natural conversation, more realistic outputs, harder to detect machine-generated versus not machine-generated content. All that is coming. And the use cases for these things are going to dramatically multiply. We just did a whole live stream on some of the different use cases. I'm actually gathering a whole collection of them for the 4th edition of my book, because what you can do now is incredible. I'll give you a real simple example that's a huge time saver for me. I record our conference calls, as many people do, with disclosing to people this call is being recorded, and then I have one AI, Otter AI, transcribe it, and it's full of ums and ahs and hey George, and all this filler talk, and then I feed that to OpenAI and I say summarize this into meeting notes and action items, and it gives me 2 paragraphs and we're done. Right? I don't need a VA. I don't need anything. I just have meeting notes and action items. The action items go right into my to-do list, and every client call, I don't miss a thing. That is one of the simplest use cases. Saves time, saves money, happier clients.
Now, you remember that big fat disclaimer at the beginning? That's right. We all know that ChatGPT 4 is out, and Chris was talking about 3, but that's because everything changes. But those tips, though, that's probably the thing I loved most out of interviewing Chris, is so many tips along the way. But did you hear that? Generative AI, Transformers, and not the cool toys. I love that little Christopher Penn joke in there. That's what has changed. ChatGPT making it easier for normal humans to easily harness the power without knowing any code. The non-technical user can get behind the use of AI and boom, here we go, off to the races. And that's why it feels so fast. Also, who else wants to go play with the B2B Gangster Paradise lyrics? Sounds like fun to me. But in all seriousness, we'll get back to Christopher Penn in a few minutes. But first, it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is Marketers Know AI is the Future, but do they understand AI today? By Todd Lufenborough. Here's a quick reality check for the next artificial intelligence AI pitch that you hear. Ask what the company's solution optimizes for. If the answer is along the lines of anything you need, that should raise a red flag. AI doesn't work that way, but it's ad tech's favorite new buzzword, so you can understand why marketers say they'll prioritize a technology that few understand. Article 2 this week, Marketing at the Speed of Thought, AI use cases for 4 content types by May Habib. Your marketing team's ability to dream up a campaign, or more accurately, type it up and automatically create first drafts of copy, images, video, and audio is no longer science fiction. Thanks to generative AI, marketing teams across all sorts of industries are transforming how they do business. 2 major characteristics of AI are dramatically faster speed in execution and the substantial potential for deep personalization across 4 main media types: text, imagery, video, and audio. Want to take a look at each one? Want to keep learning more? If so, check out the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. Okay, back to Christopher Penn. Let's dive back into this conversation of a B2B marketing deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. In this next clip, I asked Christopher what type of content or work should we get AI to use. He shared right up front the type of content and then shares some great Great examples. Pro tip, listen to how he trains the AI on what he wants. Listen to those words, how he trains the AI on what he wants. It's so important, in my personal opinion. Hashtag think intern instructions. Intern instructions. Take a listen.
Any content that is repetitive and of moderate value is stuff that you should hand off to an AI, at least for the first draft. I'll give you a real simple example. In, again, the large language models, I have a prompt that's pre-written. In fact, let me just pull it up here on my desktop just so I can read it out loud to you, because it's pretty straightforward. It says, when you are, I'm speaking to the machine, you are an expert social media manager. You are skilled at crafting social media posts that garner high engagement on services like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. In your capacity as a social media creator, you will create promotional tweets enticing audience members on Twitter to download our new ebook. Here are the details of the ebook. Here's the URL, here's the blah, blah, blah. Here's what the ebook is about. Here's, sort of a abridged table of contents. Write 10 tweets using the above details, promoting the ebook and encouraging people to download it. Use the details provided for content and benefits as reasons why people should download it. Follow the technical specifications carefully. I put this into the large language model, and it spits out 10 tweets that are hashtagged, that have the kind of language that gets engagement, that avoids the things I tell it to avoid. And I copy and paste this. I then take it over to Agorapulse, just drop the CSV file in, and boom, my promotional tweets for the week done. I then say to the language model, now give me 10 Instagram ideas. And here's the format: suggested photo, accompanying caption. Go. And it spits out a photo of the ebook cover, caption. Have you tried downloading this? And so on and so forth. Again, this is all language models. The way that I think people should be thinking about this is, if you had a new intern on staff, brand new, just got them from the temp agency or whatever, what instructions would you give them to do a fairly simple, marketing task? Write those out. That is the prompt that goes to a machine, right? And then the machine does, and then you QA the result and say, I'm ready to go. I was doing an experiment with some fiction writing last night. There's this one writing group I'm a part of, and they have a monthly contest. And in this month's contest, the prompt was dream. That was the prompt. There's 3 restrictions and 3 bonuses if you do this. So I wrote all that out as a prompt, and I said, okay, we're going to write this story in 4 parts, 750 words each. Here's, I want you to write the outline for the story first, title each part, and then we're going to write each of the parts. And in about 15 minutes or so, I had a 3,000 word story, and I submitted it and stuff. And it was coherent. Was it great? No, it wasn't great. It was a pretty good story. There's a lot of tropes, a lot of stuff that you see in a lot of very similar stories. But I didn't have to spend 3 hours writing it. I got it done in 15 minutes, right? So think about that for your blog, right? If you've got a blog post that you've got to write good first draft. Say, I want you to outline this. I want you to write me a social media strategy for this. I want you to write me a TikTok strategy. I did one the other day because Katie and I are often talking about, we're B2B marketers. What do we do with TikTok, right? So I said, okay, here's about our company and all these things. Build me a TikTok strategy. Give me 10 TikTok video ideas appropriate for a B2B marketer. And it came up with these 10 ideas. Okay, 4 of these are actually good ideas. 6 of them, not so much. And guess what? We're going to start trying these things out. So for things where you have questions, you're like, what should I do with this thing? These are all good starting points. And I think that, for B2B marketers you're sitting there and you're stressed, you got 82 things on your to-do list, another 20 that are going to come on tomorrow. It's a way to speed things up for the ideation phase and for the refinement phase. One other thing that I love to do, and this one I think is probably, I'm almost hesitant to tell you this. I like to go, I go to a lot of conferences and things, and because of the pandemic and stuff, when I can, just drive, right? If it's within driving distance, because I don't, I have these fantastic masks, these P100 masks that are, like bio-warfare masks, and they work great. But it's still, if I can spend 7 hours driving and be in the comfort of my own car, or 3 hours on a plane, packed in like a sardine, I'm going to take the 7 hours. So I have my little audio recorder that I just plug it in, and I just dictate. I just write, free form while I'm in the car, thinking about, this thing, or I've listened to a podcast and yell out loud into the recorder. And then I take the transcript I put it through one of the large language models to say, rewrite this with correct grammar, punctuation, spelling, syntax, and formatting. And guess what? These language models, they're okay at creating. They are fantastic at transforming, at rewriting, at distilling. I can take a 1 hour conversation I've had with myself and turn it into 10 to 15 pages of clear, coherent content that is me. It's still me. It's not the machine. It's me. It's my words, but refined, coherent, logical. And suddenly, I've solved my content marketing problem because I'm using the time I have available to me. When you are going to the grocery store, you got 10 minutes in the car, right? Fire up your audio recorder, foam at the mouth, feed it to a machine to clean it up, and boom, you have more content than you ever knew what to do with.
More content than you ever knew what to do with. And oh my gosh, the fiction writing example made me chuckle. It really did. But the power to take that and add great to what was good in 15 minutes makes me wonder about AI as starting lines to get to great finish lines faster. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, AI ideas to get you going. Are you going to test these for your own company later today or maybe later this week? I mean, come on, it is today, and maybe you need to schedule it out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And hey, maybe depending on when you're listening, this makes absolutely no sense, but we're going to get some last words, not really words of wisdom, but last words for today's show from Christopher Penn here in a few minutes. But right now, it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the MarketingProfs community. Yep, time for some from the hashtag MPB2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MPB2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Stephanie Toddy, SaaS marketing leader, advocate for the Oxford comma, and startups are my jam, she says. Her LinkedIn post goes a little something like this. Really thrilled to announce that I'll be speaking at MarketingProfs B2B Forum, this with a breakout session on creating a content map, key audiences, messaging, and your go-to market strategy. It's got a little strong emoji. That's strong. Who's joining me for Lasta in Boston this October? That's literally how she kind of wrote those words. I'm not making it up. You need to check out the description and click that link to check out the post and the B2B Forum speaker lineup. Oh man, read and learn more by clicking the link in the description below after the live show ends. That's right, all the right links in all the right places at just the right time. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be the next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and Twitter. Okay, let's kick it back to Christopher Penn and some final words for today around his topic of B2B marketing deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. I asked Christopher, what should marketers be thinking about as they head back to their regular day? Here's what Christopher Penn wanted to share with you, the Marketing Smarts viewer.
The thing to think about with all this stuff right now, people are experimenting. They're playing with it, right? Which is awesome, which you want. You have to think about how you put it into production, right? Because all of these tools have APIs, application programming interfaces that software can talk to. Let me give you a real simple example. I have an SEO keyword list, right? And I can take that, the search volume for that, and I can use predictive analytics, machine learning, to forecast when in the next 52 weeks that term is going to be searched for the most, right? Pretty straightforward. This is old math. This is not new stuff, right? So if I have a keyword list of 800 keywords, which I do for my company, I forecast all 800, figure out which each week are they going to be the top 5 keywords for that week. That used to be how we would figure out our content strategy. And then ChatGPT and the GPT models came along, and we said, we played with it. And then we looked at the little code button and said, okay, now we can put this into production. So now what we do is we take the top 5 keywords every week, we feed that to the AI and say, write me 5 blog outlines for that week. And now I've got the top content for that week pre-written, first drafts, that I can then, hand off to a writer just to clean up. So I've gone from write a cool prompt, right, and make the thing do something, to put it into production where now it scales. Now instead of one blog post or 20 tweets, it's 200 tweets or 2,000 tweets. That is what's going to set apart the winners from the losers in this. AI is not going to take your job, right? If you're a B2B marketer, AI is not going to be a B2B marketer. But a B2B marketer who uses AI is going to take the job of a B2B marketer who does not. That is the end of the story. That is the end of the game. If you are a marketer who is not using these AI tools, you are in danger. Your career is in danger because other people who are using these tools, who are operating better, faster, maybe even cheaper, can get more done than you can just by the nature of these tools. So that is my parting words of wisdom. A marketer who uses AI will beat out a marketer who does not use AI. It is like the first time that a basketball player put on sneakers, right? Suddenly the game has changed.
So many great examples, so many things we can do. What will you choose? Make sure to let us know. Think about what Christopher said. AI won't take your job, but other B2B marketers who use AI just might. The game has changed, ladies and gentlemen. The game has changed. Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. Also, remember that big fat disclaimer about things changing so fast. Well, make sure you look in the description as we have added an update from Chris to the resources so you can stay up to date. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Head to the description below. Click on the link to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Christopher S. Penn and keep on learning more about B2B marketing, deep dive on AI foundations, the future, and more. It really was an amazing episode. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. And if you got value out of today's show, hit that like, or better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit that subscribe or watch additional Marketing Prof videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episodes on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts live show next week.